That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Monkey.
And tonight we are going through what can only be described as Monkey's ambitious, epic Broadway adventure. Now, Captain Knuckles, are we going on an adventure?
What was that?
All right, just to pull a little, Monkey, what would you think if they did a Flapjack Broadway show?
I don't know Flapjack well enough to know that.
Ah, fair enough, fair enough. Are you vaguely aware of what Flapjack is, at least?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, how are you, Monkey? So, here's the deal. Here's the dealio, you all. Here's what we're gonna lay down. Monkey, before you went on this little excursion of yours, correct me if I'm wrong, Monkey, I believe this was the exact same number of days as my solo trip to Disney World back in December of last year. It was 2 travel days, 1 travel day there, 1 travel day back, and then 6 days there, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, of course, you went to Broadway for your solo trip, your first solo trip. And, Monkey, something that Dragon did for me that kind of eased my anxiety that I kind of passed along to you when it came to, like, traveling alone for the first time was I gave you, like, a little bit of a grading scale, if you will. I gave you, like, all right, you know what? If things go south, then now is the time, like, think of it as a video game. Literally think of it as a video game. Like, you're trying to get the best score you can, but if you don't get the greatest score in the world, well, whatever. You tried. You gave it a
I would include that 2-player song, that 2-player game song from Be More Chill here, but I didn't see that show, so whatever.
God. Okay. Monkey, a kid at my work, I actually found someone who was into Broadway shows as much as I was, believe it or not. Yeah, he was like a 14-year-old high school kid.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. He asked me what the worst musical I'd ever seen is, and you know what I said, Monkey? Based on my taste, can you guess?
Getting the band back together?
Well, no,
I'm joking with that one. My apologies to Casting for putting the band back together.
I thought that he would have gotten the reference.
So, what did you say?
I said the Addams Family. I hate to say it, Monkey, but that one, it's a sticking point with me. It's like, you could have been so much better. I don't know if it's the book or the way the production was handled, or a little bit of both, or the casting, or what, but something about that one just did not stick with me.
Probably a little bit of both. Anyway.
All right, so Monkey, just broadly, before we get into the details.
Broadly
on Broadway.
Wow.
Monkey, did you find
that where a broad should be broad?
Did you find the scoring system helpful when you were on your trip at all?
I don't know if I really thought of that. And also I kind of forgot what every category was. I mean, of course I remember that thing you mentioned in our main chat about flexibility.
Right. Like going for get those sweet flexibility baby. God. All right. So generally speaking, Monkey, how was your trip, my friend?
You know, it was neat to do. I mean, I do wish that I physically felt a little better throughout good chunks of it. And yeah, I mean, I won't deny, like, it started, there was a bit of rough seas starting, but it was still some cool stuff. Kind of tiring, like I won't lie, like, as when I figure, like, when I get home, like, I'm like Thanos, like, I'll finally rest. and yeah, I do feel like, and this is probably a time where it'll be like, yeah, I think I'm good to take a little break from Broadway. Like, I don't need to go back right away. Of course, the last time I said that, I wound up back there in 7 months, so who knows what'll happen.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, and of course, I want to save up for, to make it to Disney in a few years. But I could see, I wouldn't be surprised if I get back to NY in, like, I don't know, in 2 years or so.
Mhm.
Like, might also depend on what's playing then. It's like, 'cause I won't lie, none of the stuff coming up is really enticing me at the moment. And the next thing I think of doesn't open until fall 2020 that would really pique my interest.
Hmm.
So, yeah, the Hugh Jackman Music Man, to be specific.
Oh man. Oh yeah, that
Like,
would be something to see for sure.
yeah, like if I manage to catch it, I may even do so if it's a theater I've been in.
Right. Oh man.
It's at a point. Yeah,
You
I'm
will
probably also
establish your
reaching a point
career
where it's
here,
easier
Monkey,
to.
for people who haven't been listening to your trip reports.
What about it?
Just kind of like your I don't want to call it a quirk, but that's the only way I can describe it as.
Yeah, that's a cute word for it. A little quirk. It's that I like this. This didn't really apply as much until this run. Not as much on the first time I went, but more so afterwards. It's like just really being interested in seeing all the different theaters of Broadway, like to see the insides of everyone. Because it's always cool to see these architectural details in person, but then
Right,
also like
right.
but also like the history of them, like maybe some neat stories about them, or like what stuff used to play there, which I'll certainly get into with each venue as we go along. Like, no joke, my birthday gift this year was like stories from people who have been in the different theaters.
Aw, nice.
Yeah, so like like, oh yeah, I remember when we were doing this at that theater or that theater. And but yeah, so yeah, that's. And what was it like with last year's trip? I managed to hit the halfway point, so then add on this one, and yeah, I've now been in 29 of the 41 theaters.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, good thing I got in the Palace when I did, because who knows when that'll reopen.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. And it is nice
Like,
to have like
like
most of the
Pokemon
ones on the
like
north end of the
you.
theater district off the list. So like, okay, good. I don't have to walk as far.
It's like Pokemon. It's like you got to catch them all.
Yeah.
All right. So without further ado, Monkey, do you want to get into day 0 of your trip?
All right. So day 0, I arrived at LAX, and it's funny, the people who after you check in, check the baggage. So whatever, I go to the kiosk, get the tag for the luggage, and then, but I can't put my suitcase over to them yet because they're on break for like
God.
45 minutes. So I walked down the terminal, past the other entry check-in gates for other airlines, and it was nice. It killed time. I got the thing in. I got some dinner there at some was it Ford's filling station pub thing? That was nice. I think the burger was better than the fries, but it was nice. Worked out fine. I rewatched that South Park Broadway episode because I had time. Well, rather, I had time for that, not for a full movie or something. But yeah, and then I get on the flight and we're going off. Yay, flying. It did feel a little long, of course. Some woman or two behind me was a little annoying. I thought I'd be able to watch Frozen on my tablet, but it turned out it needed to be downloaded onto the thing or something. Like, just renting it on Google Play wasn't enough because no network or something. So what was it? The playing the screen in front of me had Guardians of the Galaxy available as one of their movies, so I put that on. Took a little break in the halfway point, but yeah, it was nice to I had Guardians of the Galaxy on. That was nice. But yeah, so 5 something in the morning, I arrive at JFK International Airport place.
Woo!
Yay! I get my thing. I take the walk over to where you get in the taxis. I guess now, ever since last time, I have the questions okay, what's going to be the first taxi top ad for a Broadway show I see? This time it was an ad for Come From Away.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I take the taxi there, and it's nice because like now the route is a bit more familiar to me. So it's cool to like pass by these things. Yes, I did see Flushing Meadows again. Unisphere is bigger than I remember. And yeah, I arrive at my hotel, the Westin Times Square place. And yeah, it's where I've stayed before. It's a nice place to be at. And I get in there and I'm taking the escalator up to the check-in level, and like halfway up, I start to laugh because I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually here. I'm back. I made it back here. I'm in this place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I check in. The room's not ready yet. This time I was able to. I had vouchers for breakfast there, so I go there. I make some pancakes with this neat little pancake making machine thing. Although I didn't realize that it was cold food you got free. Hot food, yeah, would be charged. Although the guy working or one of the guys working there let me actually didn't charge me because I'd had that little slip of the mind. So that was nice of him.
That's funny
So,
because
yeah.
like when I stayed at that Howard Johnson on the Knott's trip, they did make your own pancakes and waffles that were very similar, and those were all free.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh. But yeah, so Howard Johnson the Duck.
God.
On a less stupid note, yeah, so I took the subway over to the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
I'd been there on the first time, but not since. And yeah, there were some neat enhancements to it, like the entry was different. And they had this neat model of the Empire State Building in there. I ended up getting the express lane, which definitely helped, like especially for the security line. I assumed I'm here early, so I don't know if I'll actually need it. And I see like all the people like in the switchbacks to go through security. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm glad I got this.
Ooh, man, screw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the elevators now have these screens at the top. So like when you're going up, it looks like they played this thing, so it's like you're going up as the building's being constructed. I'm sure you can see it on YouTube.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I think the elevator might have given a little bit of motion sickness, actually.
Uh-huh.
Which of course, I kind of felt throughout the trip and also on the plane as well, but whatever. So yeah, it was neat to be up there to have that view of the whole place. And yeah, it is crazy to be up there and look up at the giant antenna and wow, I'm that high up. Yeah, so I finished up there, I subway back, I look inside Port Authority Terminal to see if the ball machine is working. It wasn't really. I mean, the lift was working, but the balls weren't going through it. I don't know why either.
What is the ball machine? Remind me.
It's like this thing where I remember Mr. Rogers did a thing on them once, or you can find that. I don't know if everyone's seen that, of course, so your reference may vary. But it's it's like this sculpture encased in glass, and it's you have these balls that get lifted up and then they go along a track, all these different tracks, and certain routes make certain sounds.
Interesting. I think I can vaguely picture what you're talking about.
Yeah.
How big are the balls?
It might vary because it's like that Discovery Science Center place has one of these things, and that uses ping pong balls. But this one here in
Cube?
What?
You mean the Discovery Cube?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I'm not used to the new name, but yeah. But this one in Port Authority, it uses billiard balls.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, and the balls weren't going through the course, but oh well. Yeah, if you look up that Mr. Rogers thing, you can see what I'm talking about. Or,
yeah, I can
or you could Google Port Authority thing. But anyway, so yeah, I come back to the spot, and my room's still not ready yet. It's like, I don't know, 9 something, so I'm sitting there waiting for it, and yeah, my left eye starts feeling not so good.
Ooh.
Yeah, like it's teary and itchy, and my room got ready shortly afterward, which was nice. So I get up there, yeah, I'm in the room, and yeah, the eye is red.
Yeah, when you said that, my heart just about dropped for you, Monkey. I was like, I was for the first couple of days, I was like very much in suspense about, because I know how much something like that, if it's not treated, can just like absolutely mess up a day.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully it wasn't pink eye, so I guess it was just irritants.
Yeah.
Like,
And I've had that before, especially on a plane. So it was probably something to do with the plane.
Yeah, it could have been various factors, like whatever little, like what are those little air vents on the plane? Like I didn't know until today that could be a factor, but that very well could have been on like whatever wind up top the Empire State Building.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it was enhanced because the fall protection at Empire State Building is like this fencing. Whereas, say, at Top of the Rock, it's glass walls. So I wonder if it had been the glass walls, if that would have made any difference. Because, like, last year, I did Top of the Rock in the morning, and I didn't have these eye issues.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like fencing, it does have those gates in between the fences, so that might be part of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and atop Empire, I did think to think back to when I did rent, and during another day I'm standing on top of that one unit, and I would imagine I was atop the Empire State Building, so
nice.
Time to think of that. Yeah, so I'm in the room, I rest a little. I may have rested a little too long, because like, oh crap, I need to get over to the thing that I'm doing. I did make it. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, it was. When I got to the room, the radio clock wasn't working for a couple days. Like, I don't think it was even plugged in. Yeah, I think around day 3 is when
more and more with hotels. I feel like hotels are kind of like phasing out radio clocks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it did get turned on eventually, and it was 6 minutes slow, but hey, it's on.
Right.
Okay, so I think that covers up. So then I head over to the Easter bonnet competition.
And we're pretty much at day 1 at this point, right?
Yeah, this is day 1.
Lead it into day 1. All right.
Let's say that when I landed at JFK is the start of day 1.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, so I already said what Easter bonnet is in the pre-trip video, so I'm not gonna go over that again. But it's partially why we did that video. But yeah, so this was held at the Minskoff Theater, which is normally the current day home of the Lion King. It's a theater that's inside an office building. One of a few like that, I guess. But yeah, so it's like like you go in and take an escalator up to the lobby with the big window overlooking Times Square, and then you take another level up to get to the orchestra section for seating. Mm-hmm. And if you're in the mezzanine, you have to go up another escalator. Yeah, so this was a theater I'd already been in, but hey, Easter bonnet, I'll check it out. And I wasn't entirely feeling my best throughout the sing, which, yeah, the mezzanine did not help with that.
Right.
Yeah, like the way you get this thing, and then when you get your ticket at will call, that's when you find out where you're seated. So I'm up in like the middle of the mezzanine, and it was hot, it was cramped, there was no goddamn oxygen up there.
Yeah, it sounded pretty miserable from what you were describing in the chat.
Yeah, which is, and during Easter bonnet, that's a shame. I wish I was in better thing for that. So like during the national tours dance, I just ended up going to the restroom during there, which, if you know me, that's not something I tend to do.
Right.
And what was it? The row behind where I was assigned happened to be empty, so I just moved back there when I got back.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up stepping out again during the dancers responding to AIDS portions, like to get some water, some, I guess not fresh air, but you know what I mean. And what was it? and was like I think I asked the usher outside the door if there was bottled water, which there wasn't, but there was a drinking fountain. And when she asked if I needed anything, I just said, I was stepping out because I wasn't feeling well, and she let me sit in her chair. That was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and of course, as well as you know, but as the viewers don't, I ended up leaving the thing early.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, like I kind of considered sticking around for the Be More Chill part of it, but I ended up not. So I didn't get to see Avenue Q's part, but I'm going to see the show anyway. So well. And I'd also gotten to see. I figured that okay, I got to see. I guess I got to see some good bits. I got to see some cool people already. So I'll just take what I've scored now and head off. And I won't lie, I'll head off to get some rest before before my show tonight. So yeah, I could use some rest. Which Man-Eating Wraith was pretty right when he's like, you need a full night's sleep or a good night's sleep. And but yeah, I do feel like that was the right decision. Like I wasn't too
No, Rob, I
absolutely
agree with you. I think that it was a very good call on your end, and I think it's
unlike this 2019 trend of me getting sick at inopportune times a lot.
But honestly, I feel like it was a good call in terms of like the flexibility scale, man.
Yeah. Now, my one disappointment about this didn't really come until like the day after I got back, which was already, a bit of a rough day. And I found out, guess who made a brief surprise appearance at the end of towards the end.
Who?
Guess who? Fucking Lin-Manuel.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Yep. Oh. The first time I missed seeing him, I didn't really know as much of who he was yet, so it wasn't as big a thing, so it wasn't as big a deal. Second time, it's like, well, yeah, he's left the original cast by now, that's okay. But this time, oh, come on, Fate, why? Please, someday under a good circumstance. But okay, so focusing more on the positive of this is like, so I did still get to see some cool names throughout the thing, like Celia Keenan-Bolger, Jane Hadestown, Orfeh and Andy Carl. It was kind of neat. Was it Orfeh and Andy Carl did a bit where they were reprising their characters from Legally Blonde, so I can say I've seen that. What was it? Frozen had a nice bit. It was like they did Spark of Creation from Children of Eden, aka the one song I know from Children of Eden. and it was like this, and they had some stuff with lights, and they put together their bonnet like on stage, like on top of the person's head, like put this on there, and then attach another piece, and then another piece, which felt nice, especially with a song called Spark of Creation. Let's see. Come From Away had a good bit, which again I wish I was feeling better or may have appreciated it more. Whereas it was a spoof of the prologue from Ragtime, and it was about how Gander used to be quiet, but now in the wake of Come From Away being this international hit, the Gander is now Gander is filled with tourists who keep bugging the people that are represented in the show.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Hey Beulah, tell us a joke. Like the line for Tim Hortons is out the door now.
All right,
there was something. I think there was something like, why don't they go to Toronto or Ontario? They want to see the nice people.
I love that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I remember there was also some big loon mascot walking around towards the end.
Hey, Oz, I can break the law, right? You're a nice cop. You won't do anything.
I don't remember what the deal with what happens with us. But yeah, what was it? Beulah's joke was like she's just walking across the stage throughout this whole thing. It's like, knock, knock, who's there? Go away. Yeah, I hope the full thing turns up on YouTube. What was the network had an amusing bit throughout? Wasn't Nick Wyman may have been on stage for it? I wasn't sure, but yeah, that would be cool if he was. So what they did was they would do this reoccurring thing throughout the show where they would pop up and we're trying to find a replacement for Howard Beale. So, and I guess the different auditioners varied depending on the day. So, like when I went, it was like it had Fred Applegate and Lena Hall. I'd seen both of them before, but oh well. I remember Lena Hall had a funny bit where she was basically just complaining about the casting for the Cats movie.
Mhm.
And then, so the third time they do this, like they didn't even do the intro to us. Like they bring up the desk and then out walks Cranston.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Okay, let's
yeah,
hear
which
about
like
this.
yeah, I thought because Cranston was scheduled to be one of the announcers at the end along with like Jeff Bridges and Kelly O'Hara and whatnot. So I didn't expect him to turn up so early, but yeah, he comes out and the audience cheers and like he sits at the desk and he's like, "Hello, I'm Bryan Cranston." And then he's like, he kind of starts, but then the sort of assistant guy just cuts him off, like, "Okay, thank you, next." Because of course, it doesn't mean I know Bryan Cranston is starring in that work.
Right,
So
right.
and Cranston's like, but I'm Bryan Cranston.
Oh
I
God.
can do this. Like I can do this in my sleep. I have. He's just being ushered off. And then later, like, when they're doing the next one come in, the curtain opens and it's Cranston with this huge, ridiculous wig.
Oh my
And he
God.
claims, he's like, I'm Jeff Daniels. And they bought it and they cast him.
Oh God.
Yeah. Their Bonnet had a working TV on it with a live feed. That was neat.
Oh wow.
I'd say my favorite bit was the one that Fiddler on the Roof in Yiddish did. So yeah, there's this off-Broadway production of Fiddler directed by Joel Grey. It's performed in Yiddish.
I've heard about this, yes.
Yeah, and I think they ended up winning Best Presentation from what I've seen, but yeah, it was a pretty good bit where it was like an off-Broadway show in Yiddish. And showing, hey, bud, we're doing pretty well, so what other shows could we do in Yiddish? And then they do a bunch of songs from other Broadway musicals, but in Yiddish. Like a Book of Mormon, Legally Blonde, was a South Pacific, Dreamgirls, which and then Tevi's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that one.
Right.
And it culminated with Joel Grey coming out and singing like "Give My Regards to Broadway" in Yiddish, which he notes isn't he doesn't speak.
Uh-huh.
And wasn't in their Bonnet was a bunch of playbills for like shows in Yiddish. Like you can kind of this performance is on YouTube and you can make out more what they are in the video. Like from my seat, I was able to make out "Come from Oy vey." But yeah, so that was my Easter Bonnet experience. I'd like to get through the full thing one day. Although, if I remember right, when I got the ticket, there was a thing like, do you have any seating preferences? You know what I'm putting this time. So yeah, I am never sitting in that mezzanine again. It actually kind of had me worried for other mezzanines on the trip as well.
Right.
But yeah, so I get back to the room and I'm honestly a bit whelmed. And I'm like, oh God, I gotta do some unpacking and I gotta get some groceries, but I should also rest. And yeah, I did get to some unpacking, which did help a bit. And yeah, I am a bit less keen on the idea of starting with a 2-show day now.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, so I start to head over for the next thing. I get some dinner at Sbarro, which, chain restaurant I can get at home. Yes. Delicious. Also, yes. Was a bit annoyed that, downstairs, where I was sitting, there was at some point there was a diaper change that happened, which I'm like, dude, lady, there are at least 5 other people here. What the hell?
Uh-huh.
I won't lie, it could have bothered me more than it did, so whatever, I got through that. And then, yeah, so then we get to the first show, the first, non-Easter Bonnet show of the trip, the prom. This is performed at the Longacre Theatre. It was originally scheduled for the Court Theatre, but it's one of at least 2 shows that, okay, we're scheduled for the Court. Wait, no, we're going to go elsewhere.
Right.
Ironically, the show that's in the Court right now wasn't going to be in there originally. Yeah, so the Longacre Theatre is named after Longacre Square, which was the original name for Times Square. It's got like this pretty Parisian design inside. It's the Marquis for the prom is aesthetically pleasing. it's had some stuff here that's neat to me, like the 2010s Lacage revival was here. First Date was here. The lobby, it's got a beautiful ceiling, but it doesn't have AC. So it was pretty warm in there. Like I literally just sat in a corner by the doors to the street.
Oh God.
But yeah, you get inside and yeah, it's better once you're in the house. And in the lobby downstairs, the lights had some cool coloring, like to match the play logo. Even though restroom wallpaper was nice, the leg room was decent, and of course the orchestra was smaller than I expected, which I guess happens with Broadway theaters, of course, but still, yeah, I was sort of caught off guard. Like getting there, I'm like, whoa, the stage is so much closer than I expected.
Yeah, that's really the big thing that I took away from what you were describing about it. Like I love theaters like that, Monkey, and of course as I've said, you need to check out Cinnabar in Petaluma because you can't get much closer to the actors than the Cinnabar.
Yeah. Like hell, the balcony didn't look too far away. But yeah, so orchestra, I was like 11th row, and there were only like 5 rows behind me. But anyway, so on to the actual show itself. It was a nice one. I may have liked the second act a bit more than the first, like with what they do with the story and some of the songs. Maybe it was funnier in the second act. Let's see. I did not get to see Brooks Ashmanskas, which, unfortunate because he was a personal draw for the show, and his understudy was someone I'd seen in a show before. But, the understudy, Mr. Josh Lehman, he was good. And, like, especially in the second act, like some of the more heartfelt moments where you see how the stuff that's going on in the play, in the story, is affecting him, like based on his past. Like, say, for instance, there's this one line he has towards the end about losing someone. And yeah, you could definitely feel the kind of sadness there. And, let's see, I think my favorite song was Christopher Sieber's Big Act 2 number, where he's talking, like, one about how, so you don't like you don't like homosexuality because the Bible says it's bad, but what about all these other ways you're betraying the Bible? Like, well, you're not a virgin or your parents got divorced? The Bible's against those. So, and it's him kind of being like, that, like that thing of like, what up, fellow kids? But yeah, that was probably my favorite song in there. There's a social media angle in the second act that I felt was a nice one. It felt more genuine than, say, a certain other musical.
Musical that you and I won't mention for fear of backlash.
Right? Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. It wasn't like, I think it might have been at that part, but like I think after or somewhere after I think it might have been around that scene when like I think the guy next to me was sniffling. So that was nice. And yeah, it was a good ending. Like the ending it's a good final number. It kind of reminded me of the final song from Hairspray, maybe a touch lower key, but still. Yeah. And I ended up not stage dooring because, I kind of physically wasn't up to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm not too disappointed with the ones I didn't stage door. I mean, if I was feeling better, then maybe, yeah, it would have been really nice to do so, like, say, for this show in particular, but, oh well. Flexibility points.
All right.
Yeah, so that night I pick up some stuff at the Duane Reade near my hotel, like, eye drops, water, crackers, yada yada. And I think that'll be it for day 1. Yeah, I was back. So, okay. Yeah, move on to day 2. I get breakfast at Westway Diner again. And, yeah, I don't think I need to go back again. It's just, the food didn't sit well with me, I don't think.
Did they get mad at you for eating the pancakes this time?
What?
Did they get mad at you for eating the pancakes this time?
No, that time was in the hotel. This is an actual like diner.
Oh, right. It's a diner. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that one diner on 9th Avenue.
Yeah. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. And yeah, so I head over to pick up my ticket for the show. At some point, I passed by the Al Hirschfeld Theater where they're doing the load-in for Moulin Rouge. So yeah, the loading door was open, so I could kind of see, I guess, like what had to be the stage. And I also saw like some light in the auditorium, so that was neat.
Nice.
But yeah, so I get the ticket, I freshen up in the room or whatever, and I head back up to like King Kong live on Broadway. So yeah, so this is of course in the Broadway Theatre. It's like the second or third largest house on Broadway, I want to say. Like, I mean, look at this. You see that rear mezzanine? That is a big rear mezzanine.
Wow, that's just the mezz?
Yeah, like the front mezzanine is like 6 rows, which is where I sat. Like, and then yeah, this big rear mezzanine. And look at that chandelier, a big chandelier.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, was it the lobby is beautiful? It was kind of reminded me of like a more compact layout of the Pantages lobby.
I could definitely see the Pantages influence for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, so of course this is a theater that actually has a lobby once you pass the box office. And yeah, you know, I'd seen pictures of it and whatnot. So yeah, it was great to see in person. As you head downstairs, like one of those staircases for the lounge, like there's a classic King Kong movie poster. I appreciated that.
Nice.
Yeah. So as far as history of it, like you know, there's certainly been some cool stuff here. Like as we've previously discussed, Shrek was here. There's also been stuff like the original Gypsy, the original Evita, the original Les Mis opened here. And there's some stuff you'll really appreciate. So I guess originally this was a movie palace.
Okay.
And you know, and one of the movies that had its premiere here, its debut here, Fantasia.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
And then even before that, friggin' Steamboat Willie.
Really? Oh my god. Yeah, wow.
This is where Steamboat Willie debuted.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah, so once again they have monitors instead of a cast board, which although this is probably one of the better looking ones I've seen. The few times I've seen, including ones online, but whatever.
All right. So
it was funny when I went to pick.
I want you to break King Kong down. I want you to break King Kong down in 2 ways. I want to know, A, how good the puppets and set design and production design is, and B, how bad the songs are.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see. Just kind of funny story. Like when I went to pick up the ticket, like I noticed there was a bunch of understudies listed. I'm guessing from the previous night, including Andero. I get there for the actual show, and it's very different. Like there's maybe 3, like only one of them for a named role. And also, but yeah, this guy, like I may be mispronouncing his name, Jacques Andre Sims. He was on for Captain Englehorn, and yeah, it was hard to believe he wasn't the regular guy. He was, so yeah, shout out to him. Yeah, so I actually liked this one, at least for what it was. Like, and if I wasn't feeling off, you know, maybe I would have been in. That may have, you know, helped a bit. But yeah, it's like the thing starts, and I'm like, I think I love this. Like with the music and some construction workers coming down on, you know, the construction hooks. And yeah, it's like, oh my God, this may be the most talented ensemble I've ever seen. It's like, they're not just amazing dancer. I mean, they're amazing dancers, like just that. And then, of course, you know, a bunch of them are doing the puppetry. So, wow.
All right, so walk me through the puppetry. How does that work? I'm so curious about that.
Okay, so let's see. So King Kong is like 20 feet, I think. He was actually a touch smaller than I expected. And before I forget, his face reminded me of Thanos. Yeah, so he's kind of like this marionette animatronic hybrid where it's like,
okay.
so like, you know, you see the wires and you see the puppeteers around him, like they're dressed in black and such, and it was neat. They were a unit. Like there was this moment towards the end where where it's like Kong wants Anne to get on his back, and like and then all the puppeteers like simultaneously gesture their hands out to her. Nice, nice moment. So yeah, you get them moving around, and then Kong's face and maybe parts of like shoulders or whatever are like you see that booth in the picture?
Yes.
Like kind of towards the back with the window. Like that's normally seating, but for this, it's a booth where they control Kong's face or whatever, like the animatronic parts, and one guy does Kong's roars live, like the roars and the grunts. Like they modulate his voice, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was really nice, like during curtain call, like they show you like a live video of the people in the back, and you get to see the guy do the roar.
Do the roar.
Do the roar.
Shrek's Theater. This is Shrek's Theater. And yeah, it is an impressive puppet. Like, I think the thing that amazed me the most was his lips or his mouth, because like this this is a very expressive face, and like so there would be moments like
Kong, man, like it wouldn't work without something like that.
But yeah, so like you'd have one side of his upper lip would curl, or something like that. Which yeah, that was real cool. There's also this snake puppet that was kind of similar, a bit more marionette-ish. And with like it didn't have the animatronic parts, I don't think. Was it? It kind of reminded me of like visually, its appearance kind of reminded me of like a smaller version of the basilisk skull from the Forbidden Journey ride attached to a giant tampon.
Oh God.
But yeah, and of course, but yeah, so yeah, I was into the show. Like I actually thought the music actually worked for me.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah. Maybe it's me, but I thought it kind of worked, actually. It was sort of funny. Throughout the first act, I'm wondering, like, why does anyone trust Carl Denham? Yeah.
I mean,
this version of Carl Denham
is a good question about the movie as well, Monkey.
Yeah. But, like, in this version of the show, in this version of the story, he's certainly unlikable. He's more unlikable. So interesting. There's no natives in this version.
That was probably a smart call, honestly.
Yeah. So instead, it's kind of like it's sort of more downplayed, but it's like the plants are alive or sentient.
What? Oh God.
So I mean, it's like you got the vines, and then you got like ensemble members like kind of hanging among them, and they're dressed like vines, and you know they're moving, and they might be like Kong.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. There's no love interest.
Really? So Jack is
no
not
Jack Driscoll.
What?
Yeah, there's no Jack Driscoll character.
No Jack Driscoll. Huh. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There is this one guy who he's like Carl Denham's assistant, and he's around a little bit. Like he's
kind of like the Colin Hanks character in the Peter Jackson movie.
I don't know the Jackson movie.
Okay.
I mean, he takes the name of his name is Lumpy. That's out of the Jackson movie, right? Or
yes, that's the chef. That's Andy Serkis's character from the Jackson movie.
Oh, I know. Maybe that name is from the novella that was written around the time the movie was made, because that's what the show was based on. But yeah, I feel like he's around, kind of like his.
Lumpy's the guy that gets eaten by the giant leeches that you see in the Kong Skull Island queue at Universal.
Oh, okay. No, he lives in this one. He primarily gets a chance to shine in the second act, where he has a nice little kind of nice scene with Anne before opening night of Kong on Broadway, where he talks about how she reminds him of his daughter who died at 14. And he also had a nice bit where the last scene between him and for Denham, where he tells Carl Denham that he's quitting And he also gets in a couple nice burns at Denham. Like a couple nice digs. The second one, like when the audience was like, "Oh," it sounded like a siren. But yeah, he was likable. He sounded kind of like Telly Monster from Sesame Street.
God.
Yeah. You know, what was it? Oh yeah. So of course there's a bit in the second act. You know, after Kong escapes and wreaks havoc on the city, there was this whole bit where it's just him down at the edge of the stage checking out the audience.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. That was a fun little bit.
Does
Like,
it get super intimate with some of the audience members?
Well, the orchestra is like covered up or something. So if you're in the front row, you're like right at his feet.
Oh wow.
right at his hand.
Nice.
Yeah. There would be like a moment or two where he'd like suddenly turn and growl at some woman in the front. It was funny. The ending was a little odd because like it was, you know, you've just had, you know, the demise of Kong, and you know, like he and Anne have formed the bond, you know, like the bond between them, and like and the finale is like some song where she's singing and sings to the ensemble about like the wonder of, and it's like and it feels optimistic, and I guess the reason why the optimism was there didn't come across for me. Like it didn't, like maybe it's supposed to be like I'll share your story thing, but that didn't really come across as well. It just kind of came across as like Kong is dead. Oh, there's such wonder in the world. So yeah,
right. I hear you.
Yeah, it would be neat if this was able to somehow.
My guess is that,
like, say, do I don't know, like special engagements across the country, like. Kind of like, okay, we're going to do sometime here and then sometime at this theater, you know, enough time to, you know, get the tech right. Yeah, what was it? Scenic was there was also,
yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be interested in going to see it if it ever like hit the Pantages or something.
Yeah. Was it? Also, there's this, I'd heard about it before, so like the way they do the boat, which it's neat. Although I'd heard before that like some people, you know, would feel seasick, which okay, I've been feeling motion sick occasionally. That could be a problem. And it was a touch, I guess. I mean, the actual idea is neat. It's like like they set up the rails and whatever, and then part of the stage, like that outline of like the bow of the ship lifts up. Like,
nice. Nice.
So at first it's like kind of dipping and rising with the sea, and then later it's just because the back of the set is just like the kind of main set is just this huge curved screen at the back of the stage. So they've got like the rising and lowering in the water there, which like okay, I mean it's cool you can pull this off, but do you have to do it in a way that makes the audience seasick? But yeah, so King Kong, I liked it. I did not stage door for that, so yeah. So then that evening between shows, I had dinner at Junior's. I met up with a friend who was in the area. So yay, we have this moment of overlap, and we were able to do this. So we did it. Was it both times I ended up doing Junior's on the trip? It was like between shows, and yeah, it hadn't occurred to me those will be peak times.
Right.
The burger I got there was excellent, though. So,
nice.
Yes. So yeah, I kind of freshen back up the room and then head to the next show, Tootsie.
All right, you were this is one you were raving about, man.
Yeah, so as first yeah, so this is of course in the Marquis Theatre, which the big quirk about this theater is that it's located inside the Marriott Marquis Hotel. So yeah. So it's another upstairs one, but I was in the orchestra, so that not as worried. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. This theater is controversial.
Really?
I don't know the exact order of how this happened, or like which came first. But yeah, so this hotel stands on the site of 5 old Broadway theaters. And
Ooh. Ooh.
yeah, so yeah, the decision to demolish these 5 theaters and put up a hotel was that did not go over well back in the 80s,
Mhm.
back when it happened. Like there were protests about it, like so yeah, like a lot of people like Christopher Reeve and I mean Susan Sarandon, they protested. And so I don't know if it was just as a condition for that or like was why there's a theater in there. I've also
Yeah.
heard that it was a way of like okay, this is a way to bring life back to the theater district because Times Square sucks in this era. So this way, when people are waiting in line to go inside, they're waiting indoors, like not on the streets. But yeah, that was nice. That was a nice little break from the streets.
Makes
Because
sense.
it's funny
Okay.
when the Drowsy Chaperone was here, they added a line for the Broadway production of it because the show within a show of Drowsy Chaperone, they say played at the Morosco Theater, which is one of the theaters that the Marriott Hotel is in the place of. So for the Broadway production, they added a line of like, "Oh, it's not around anymore. They tore it down and put up a hotel." And yeah, this theater was like, I mean, yeah, it looks like one that's in a hotel, but in person, it was charming,
Mhm.
especially because the walls looked a bit, I don't know, maybe not carpet is the word, maybe carpet's not the word, but yeah. And yeah,
Like
this was also a show
fabric.
where I was a little closer than expected, like, I don't know, 12th row, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so Tootsie, this turned out to be the favorite show of the trip. Like,
Wow, that's
it was kind of like the point. Yeah, I was like, okay, now we're going. Now this trip is really going. Like,
right,
yeah, I was
right.
kind of
This was
surprised
probably the
how much. I
moment
was
that
hoping
kind
I
of
would
turned
like.
things
I
around
was
for you a
surprised
little
how
bit.
much I did.
Uh-huh.
Like, cause yeah, this. And again, as stated before, I have not seen the movie yet. I mean, I think they definitely change up things. Like, it's a bit more of its own thing. But yeah, it was kind of weird to think it was based on a movie. But yeah, this show is hilarious. Like, it is friggin' hilarious. Like,
Nice.
there's this one moment where this one guy reveals something, and I didn't laugh so much as shriek. This other point, like, not too long after, like, even with the play that goes wrong, I don't think the act of a door opening has ever been as funny. Like, I'm willing to say this. Hopefully, you're listening, marketing team for Tootsie. This may be the best or like the funniest Broadway new musical comedy since Book of Mormon.
Ooh,
I'll go
ooh,
there.
bold claim, bold claim.
Yeah. Bold claim, but I'll make it.
All right.
And of course, I liked the story and the music as well. It's the same composer as the band's visit. Would you believe that?
That's great.
Yeah. Different style, of course. A good cast, a good direction. Santino Fontana was excellent. Uh, I guess he's my vote for the best leading actor, Tony, out of the ones I saw. And but yeah, oh, this was a good time. And yes, and it's like, yeah, I'm definitely stage dooring this, which I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
It was
for sure.
so yeah, this is definitely a show I would recommend. Yeah. Who would have thunk?
Remind me what your expectations were going into this one.
I mean, like I'd heard like okay, I heard like the buzz for this show is the out of town buzz was great.
Uh-huh.
Like I'd heard it was a really good book, like a really funny book. So I'm hoping, yeah, hope it's a nice time. And yeah, oh my god, it actually was.
Nice.
Yeah. So next morning, a little bit of a show break is Modern Pinball NYC, which we discussed a little bit. Like, yeah, this place it's just pinball machines. I'm gonna check that out. What was neat is the route I took there allowed me to, like, the subway station was right by the Flatiron building, so I finally got to see that in person.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm walking to the place and I'm coming up to the intersection or where it is. And across the street from the place, I noticed a school bus. You know, ironically, I did it like on a Thursday morning, partially to hopefully avoid, you know, a kid crowd. Like, I
Uh-huh.
bet they're probably in school, and then there's the field trip. Now, the first parts and the last parts of this weren't as affected by them because, like the first part, like they were in a room, like I don't know, maybe they were in the party room or something, like having snacks or something. I don't know. And then the last 20 minutes or half hours, 20 minutes or so was after they left. But
Yeah.
yeah, that part where they were in the room, yeah, that was noisy and yeah, that was loud, and they were taking up every machine.
Every
I
machine.
know you're pretty much, or at least most of them, yeah.
Damn.
It's like I get it. You have more energy and less inhibition, but do you need to be so loud?
What if you don't mind
Kids,
me asking?
I don't know what's wrong with these kids today. But yeah, so as for the games themselves, there's just some of the highlights I'm going to share was there was this Beatles one, which yeah, I listening to Beatles music while playing pinball. That was something I didn't know I needed. Oh, they've got some old-fashioned games, so like the kind, like I don't know, the old look and stuff, and it literally does the little ding, 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 ding. And of course, me, I'm like, oh, that's neat, but they don't have ramps. I know, I'm so appreciative. There was a Kiss one that was cool. There was a Phantom Menace one, which I just love that not only does it have Jar Jar talking to you, but there's one of the little challenges it can do is like try to trip Jar Jar.
Yeah, I think I remember the Phantom Menace one.
Yeah, it has one of those sort of like holovision screen things.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's got Jar Jar. That's delightful. And then wait, you want me to trip Jar Jar? That's wonderful. Yeah, so I did that. I got back for bam, 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 bam.
All right. This
Phantom.
is one of your traditions, right?
Yeah, it's the one main. Yeah, it's the non-Q mainstay. Yeah, it's
Right. Well, you
neat.
probably
Like
breezed by this pretty quick, right? Like any
what?
major changes to the production?
No, not really. No, I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out. Just a brief theater talk. I don't need to as much, but yeah. So yeah, the Majestic Theater. It's cool. There was a neat element to it this time because this is where the original South Pacific was, and of course, I just got off of that show. So
Sure.
yeah. There was this kind of cool hack I did because I figured because it was near my hotel, I didn't need to go pick up my ticket earlier. So I go there. You got the line to enter and have your bags checked or whatever. And so I go but they let you into these things like if you're picking up your ticket. So I go to do that. I pick up the ticket, and whatever employee inside, because I'm already in there, so she just tells me to just head right on in, like get in the line that's going into the lobby. So there's a useful hack. It's crazy, but like 3 days before I arrived, the show had its 13,000th performance.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Dang. And of course, this theater complements the show so damn well.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, like, I guess I keep forgetting how powerful that overture is, because like, the first note of the overture plays and it's like, whoa, it blows you back.
I like the show, like just kind of studying the show. I like how we get a little skit at the beginning before the overture kicks in, right?
Yeah, it's such a great way of setting the mood.
Uh-huh.
Was it something that really occurred to me this time that I've always noticed, but it really hit me this time was how many thuds there are in the show. Like when they drop the poster at the beginning, or Madame Giry like thudding her cane, or like when Phantom tosses the mannequin aside towards the end. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. It was Christine I hadn't seen before, like she's not new she's done the show before, definitely. Like she's not new, but new for me. Miss Kaylee Ann Voorhees, I quite liked her. I thought she did really well, like especially in some of the more emotional stuff, like say at the start of the graveyard scene, that was real good. Like you could see how, kind of the toughness of being there for her. It was interesting. Like this time I focused more on like the choices and reactions that the characters have and make than the plot.
Yeah.
Which worked. It worked. Like it's nice to see like how like say the Phantom and Christine just react throughout the proceedings and the choices they make. Yeah, I did not stage door as per usual. As I'm leaving, it turns out there's some rain happening. Ironically, this was the time like I don't think I'll need my sweatshirt.
Right.
So I ended up getting an umbrella on the way out. Yeah, I got some McDonald's between shows at the one near my hotel, and it was so weird to only have to do one crosswalk to get there. I mean, I brought it back to the room, of course, but yeah. It was funny, I'd forgotten. There's a picture inside there from the original South Pacific.
Cool.
Yeah. And just throwing it out there, was it? They have Endgame Happy Meal toys, which just felt like an odd choice to me. Like, considering what that movie is a follow-up to, like, really? You're doing that for a Happy Meal?
Right.
Yeah, so for the final show we'll talk about tonight, the halfway point, Hadestown.
Okay, now
Yeah,
wait,
so,
wait. Hold on. Lay out the chronological order for me. So,
you mean what we've had so far?
yeah.
Let's see.
So day one was the Easter
Bonnet.
Bonnet, and then
the prom.
Prom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then day two was
King Kong and Tootsie.
Gotcha. And then day three
is Phantom and Hadestown.
Phantom and Hades. Okay. I'm sorry, we didn't really make a big announcement about switching over to day three, so.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, so this was at the Longacre Theatre, which is, had some neat stuff like A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. This is where Angels in America originally was? Yeah, nice. Dang. It's got a cool mark. Huh?
I said I'm going to be getting to see Gentleman's Guide next year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
what is it? Spreckles is doing it, right?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. So, and yeah, it's got this cool big light up marquee outside. And, look at this. This inside is beautiful. It was cool to see the inside of it. It is a beautiful inside. And it was a good view. It's like intimate. I mean, kind of tops of heads, but still, it didn't feel far from the actors. I checked out what the front row was like. That seemed super close to the stage. Now, in terms, however, of functional practicality, yeah, this theater is a fail.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Monkey, which one was your most hyped up show of the trip, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe the most hyped up theater as well.
Oh man. Ooh.
Yeah, if I may just, get all that kvetching out of the way. But yeah, it's like, they're kind of rushing you. Like, maybe this was also poor planning on my part, but it's like, this was the hardest it's ever been to get a picture of a cast board. It's like, they're kind of like just sending you through that box office room. And this is one of those where it's just the room with the box office and the board and then straight doors into the house.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's hard to, they're kind of want you to go through there. And there's an employee standing in front of the board. Yeah. I'm amazed my board picture turned out as well as it did. And then of course, zero leg room.
Ooh.
Like, I know I've had tight experiences before, but this, I think, may take the cake.
Yeah, judging by the pictures, I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, like, the pictures don't do it justice. Like, even just... Like, just from the moment you sit down in those seats, it's like, this could be more comfortable. Maybe the front row's not as bad. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, thankfully I was on an aisle, so I could kind of stretch my legs into there. But even then, it's like, yeah, this is what?
Yeah.
It's like, it's unfortunate. That kind of gets in the way of, like, should I see Hadestown on Broadway? Well... it's a good show, but fair warning, there's no leg room.
Right.
and then was it the way the stage door is situated is that so you got the door, it's towards the left of the building, the left edge. They have the barricades so that you're going, towards the left, but then you can't go past the edge of the building. And again, this isn't very far. Like this is a relatively small space. You can't go further because it's the exit for a parking garage.
Ooh.
It's like, what? I know these theaters were designed, years ago, but still, it's kind of amazing how this one doesn't, like I said, the functional practicality. Wow.
Yeah, definitely seems like a lot of like small things kind of adding up there.
But yeah, so like imagine, and then it wasn't until like I think maybe when I got back or something, but I'm wondering like, so for people who had to see part 2 of Angels in America, which is like I don't know if it actually hits 5 hours, but it's this super long play.
Oh dear God.
Sit there.
Oh no.
That must have been interesting. But okay, let's get to the show that's actually there, Hadestown.
Okay, so of course this is a creative, like basically almost kind of a spiritual successor, if you will, to The Great Comet, right?
You could say that, like primarily with the director. It actually, I kind of felt like it had a bit more in common with Hamilton than The Great Comet.
I could totally see that based on the album that I've listened to, which is the original.
Yeah, and also like album. The staging of it and such. Because Bob Gurr would shed tears of joy. This says like 3 turntables.
Oh wow!
And the middle one is also an elevator.
Nice.
So like it rises above the stage sometimes, and it also takes stuff down below the stage. Way down under the ground, as it were. So yeah, I do fear this was kind of like what happened with my first viewings of Hamilton or Come From Away, where like it's good, but I could have maybe been into it a touch more.
It's like, and it's almost like inevitable for things that you're like so excited for. It's like the hype almost outweighs the reality.
Like now that I think about it, it's kind of a miracle that I enjoyed SpongeBob as much as I did.
Right.
Like that was a hyped up one. But yeah, and of course, for what it's worth, with both Hamilton and Come From Away, like when I got to see the tours in LA, like for both of those productions, like I was into it way more the second time. And of course, Hadestown is still a good one. It's I feel like Way Down Hadestown is the turning point where it's kind of like how, like, in Hamilton, it's good, but then My Shot is like the point where it really gets going.
Oh yeah, Way Down in Hadestown is totally the My Shot of this show. Absolutely.
Yeah. So picture if instead that turning point happened around Right Hand Man.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's not. So it's more like, I don't know, the 6th song or so, not the 3rd.
Right. This is the thing, Monkey. Like in the album, like in the original,
it's the 3rd one. Yeah.
Album, it happens like it's like what, like the 2nd or 3rd song.
I think the 3rd. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I was looking at I was kind of comparing song lists, and it was sort of weird to see how much isn't in the album.
Yeah,
I mean, isn't in the concept album.
Differences there between the album and the show.
Yeah. And yes, like I do kind of wonder if the second act may have been structured a little oddly. I guess it felt kind of like it could have ended, like it could have been a little shorter.
Which song is the act break song?
You mean the end of Act 1?
Yeah.
Why We Build the Wall.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And yeah, that is a great song.
Okay, and first of all, I don't want to get political here at all, but I just
this song was written 10 years ago, for what it's worth.
Yeah, and I just think it's crazy. It's like it's incredibly prophetic.
Yeah,
it gives me chills when I listen to it.
Yeah, it is a great score. I would give this I would say this gets best score. I would give it to this one. And yeah, it is a cool start to the show, like especially when the music starts, like when that trombone starts up, it's pretty neat. It's an excellent cast, like the principals are great. you know, like, I know not everyone likes Rafe Carney. I mean, I liked him in Spider-Man. I thought he was great in this. See, we had an excellent Eurydice with Eva Noblezada. Out of the nominees that I saw for Best Actress, leading actress, which I'll fetch about in part 2, but out of the ones who did get nominated, I'd probably give it to her. And then of course the other featured ones like Amber Gray as Persephone, Patrick Page as Hades, and Andre DeShields as Hermes. Both Page and DeShields are nominated for featured actor. I'd say they're both deserving of it. I'd probably give it to Page, maybe. No, the lighting is also really good. Some good choreo as well. Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, it is a good one. And yeah,
it just wasn't like an earth-shattering experience like Comet was.
Yeah, and of course with Comet, I didn't hype that one up as much. So that, yeah, like say,
like Comet was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Comet was almost kind of like a dark horse of your lineup going into that trip, right?
Like it was one where, yeah, it was one with like, yeah, I'll see it because you know maybe it's got some neat spectacle and Josh Brolin if he's on. And yeah, maybe it, and I like the music I've heard, but yeah, like that one turned out to be, you know, in a way you could say it was, I mean, obviously a different type of show, but maybe for that trip what Tootsie was for this trip.
I could see that.
And I do feel that part of what could have been a hamper in my experience with Hades was having Tootsie in my mind.
I mean, that plus probably the legroom issue sounds like it really didn't help.
Yeah, but I mean in terms of like, you know, okay, I had Tootsie last night, so now I'm like comparing the two shows.
Right.
And they are different shows, of course, and they're both real good in their own ways.
Okay.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting, I wonder, like, if they try to tour this, like, how they'll do it without the elevator, like, without that trap. Because they have some pivotal moments of staging with that trap, like, taking people down to Hadestown, or like for Epic 3, like, it rises up like a stage for that, which, you know, feels kind of pivotal. Yeah. So I did the stage door. It was neat. They hand out, like, if you go to the stage door, they have a guy there who hands out flowers. Like, so like the ones that look like the spring flower from the show, like in the logo.
Yeah,
so you get one of those. And then the actors, when they sign, they have their own special Sharpies. They're like gray ones with green caps and flowers attached. That's a nice little touch. My deepest apologies to the chorus guy I mistook for Reeve Carney. I'm so sorry. It was funny.
Wait, what?
I mistook one of the chorus guys for Reeve Carney.
Oh.
My deepest apologies to him. Yeah. It was the worst part is that, like I said, good to have you back, and then like I was checking in the playbill, and it was this guy's Broadway debut.
Oh, that's awful.
I didn't end up going through with this, but I was tempted to, when Reeve came out, to like, please apologize to him for me. Right. Or like tell him I apologize. Which I yeah.
Oh man. Social faux pas, monkey.
Yeah. And it's a small cast where it's like you can relatively recognize who the people are, so it was funny. I could notice because this is right across from the prom, so I could see their stage door crowd and like hear their cheers. I noticed Christopher Sieber walk out, so that was kind of funny. But yeah, so yeah, I did get to meet and thank Patrick Page, so that was nice. That was nice. You know, we talked a little about that sort of thing, but yeah, that was nice. It was funny. And Patrick Page's wife, Paige Davis, happened to be there that night. Like, so I guess she was visiting or something. She came out. So I got to, I mentioned like, oh, I saw you in the Chicago tour a bit back, and like, yeah, and you're still my favorite Roxy that I've seen. Which, yeah, that was nice. You know, she liked that. And yeah, I headed back to the room from there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, or Hades and gentlemen, you're welcome, is the halfway point.
Okay, so Monkey, I am going to go ahead and I'm not going to give you numbers, but I'm going to kind of give you like a hot, colder in the middle for all of these. All right, so so let's see.
Well, if
So
Hadestown, then that would be funny if Hadestown isn't hot.
so for travel, I'm feeling Monkey. You had some road bumps along the way. You had that flight didn't sound like the most comfortable.
I mean,
But
it could have been worse, but could have.
Yeah,
but
generally speaking, it sounds like you've got into where you needed to go, and there hasn't been any sort of like issues of being late or anything like that. So I'm feeling like a mild hot on it.
Sounds good.
Flexibility, Monkey. I got to tell you, I feel like you've been hit with some punches along the way, and you've dealt with them.
You think?
Yeah. So I'm definitely giving you a hot on that one. I think you're getting those sweet, sweet flexibility points, Monkey.
You hear that, ladies? I'm hot.
God. Okay, lodging and dining. Now this one's a little bit more questionable. This one I'm gonna have to like kind of it sounded like you didn't have a couple good meals along the way. It sounded like you maybe could have checked into your hotel a little earlier than you wanted to.
Yeah, and the breakfast options in the hotel weren't they weren't quite what I would have liked. So
yeah. So I'm feeling kind of like a mild cold on that, like a lukewarm on.
Oh, you got a mild cold. You should maybe go to the doctor or something.
Show roster, I'm definitely feeling that. Of course, there's I'm gonna give an asterisk to the Easter bonnet because it's not like I don't want
to. Just also throwing it out there, kind of one of the downsides of the prom starting it off is that like even before, like in the day or two before I left, it felt like the prom feels like it was some time ago, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, maybe that comes with the territory. I do wonder if 6 nights is a little too much. Like maybe 5 is a good medium. I mean,
I was wondering the same thing about my Disney World trip, Monkey. So hopefully your trip doesn't somehow end up with you breaking down into a panic attack pool of tears in the middle of Epcot.
Don't worry, we didn't get that.
I don't know how that would happen. I don't know how you would wind up in Epcot, but
I don't know. Maybe I just like
you would definitely
I just go to Book of Mormon's theater, ring down the Orlando drop, and cry under the painting of Spaceship Earth. They're like, why are you in the theater? I'm sorry, I'm having a moment. Oh, okay, we get it. Do you want you want some company? Okay, thanks. Theater people.
All right.
If I fucking said that line from the show, but like teary-eyed, like Epcot Center, I can see the ball.
Oh God. Okay.
But yeah, moving on.
The show roster.
Yeah, I honestly, if I was gonna have that moment, it would have been like on the first day. We didn't get that, but yeah, first day was probably the most whelming.
Expectation management. I'm giving a little bit of like a mild warm on that one. I don't want to go quite hot on that one quite yet because it seems like Hadestown was maybe a little bit too hyped up for you.
Which very well could, be an unfortunate symptom.
Sure. And it seems like Tootsie was kind of like, unfortunately, a little bit of an overshadowing factor.
Yeah.
But keep in mind with the
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, but keep in mind with the next few shows that you're seeing as we get into part 2, all this could change. And like I said, I'm not giving away any numbers that I'm feeling right now or anything like that. So I'm still very flexible with the scoring.
Oh, I will give the Walter Kerr this though. So you can see like I'm towards the back of the mezzanine. They had oxygen.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So like it might have been a touch more cramped than the Minskoff, but at least I could breathe up there.
All right.
Just imagine how it must be for those in the balcony up there. Those random 2 rows up at the ceiling.
God. All right. So Monkey, thank you so much for regaling us with your journeys, and we will be back early next week to cover part 2. Any teases about part 2, Monkey?
Let's see. It includes a certain burdeny dead figure, a certain Star Wars villain,
Yes.
a certain DreamWorks villain,
Yes.
a revival, and an ending.
Okay. I know what that ending is, and I know you're going to be sad when we get there.
Okay, I guess there's 2 endings. Ironically, the first is at the beginning of the second part, but whatever.
Okay. Bookends.
And also a guest from another friend of ours.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yeah, Adventure Blue Dude is going to have a cameo in part 2. Awesome. I forgot
I'm
about
so glad
that.
to be here.
It was just wonderful. I'm just doing so well, Tiki.
Yeah, it was a fantastic. We saw hair.
Oh God. Oh, Evan, I miss you, man. I miss you. We had some fun times, bro. We had some fun times like in the early days of this channel.
Go to another one of our Imagineer channels and you can find the video of us broken down on Pinocchio.
Oh God. Yep.
Is anyone there?
All right. And on that note, folks, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 in the coming days, and see you all later.
Bye.
It was beauty killed the beast.